in this room. My hat got muddy yesterday at Leewoods, and I'm really sad about it, but I can't have it right now. Anyway, so it's 2021. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new year. And we are going as a church into the unknown. So that's the title of our new series, January. Sorry? No, it's not a band name, Sam. But well done. You are alert to the band names, if nothing else. So we're going into the unknown. It is the name of a song, though, from a popular film called Frozen 2, which we love in our house. And we've got a little GIF from the song that I want to put up. Nick's going to do his technical wizardry. And so this series is called Into the Unknown. Just basically, that's the little picture of Elsa just kind of, there we go. Elsa, like disappearing into the cloud of the unknown. It's cool, isn't it? So 2020 has been weird. I don't need to tell anyone that. 2021 is a new year, and I mentioned a poem last year. I butchered a poem last year, both true. But I found it again. That is, if I can actually find it again. And I realized how badly I butchered it. And it's called The Gate of the Year, and basically it's one that King George VI used in his 1939 address to the nation. So this was just after the Second World War had started, and he was trying to reassure the nation at Christmas. And he used this poem that said, "And I said to the man who stood at the gate of the year, 'Give me a light that I may tread safely into the unknown.' And he replied, 'Go out into the darkness and put your hand into the hand of God. That shall be to you better than light and safer than a known way.' So I went forth, and finding the hand of God, trod gladly into the night. And he led me toward the hills and the breaking of day in the lone east." And that's a very famous poem for good reason. It is like amazing words and sentiment. But King George VI was using it to reassure his people on at the start of war and in a very unknown period. And just saying, yeah, with God it's going to be all right. And we're kind of going halfway there, but we're also we're kind of going further than King George VI, because we not only want to provide reassurance in the face of an unknown future, but we want to encourage you to actually take the opportunity to jump into the mystery of God, into the what one writer called the cloud of unknowing, and the mystery that God has for us all. It's really cold. I'll probably say that quite a few times, because it's really, really cold. So January's got five Sundays. We're going to look at 5 characters throughout the Bible. They're all men. Sadly, this is just purely coincidence. It's not from design. But Abraham, Moses, Elijah, David, and then John the Apostle. And it charts a kind of a journey of really kind of pursuing intimacy with God, from very little knowledge of God right up until John, who displayed possibly some of the greatest intimacy with Jesus in the Bible. And yeah, and I wanted to show the little Elsa GIF, because let's have it up again. Just as like an illustration, because I don't know if you've seen Frozen 2. I have several times. We are big fans of Frozen in our house, much to my surprise. I never thought I would be. But in the film, Elsa, the film is full of mystery. It's full of characters chasing their own mystery and trying to work out their own journey and everything. And actually, my phone has a little sticker on it that that Faith got a book of stickers, and Laura saw one and thought it was prophetic for me, and so said you should probably have it. So it says, "Trust your journey." There we go. Yeah, and so there's lots of different journeys, there's lots of different mysteries. People are trying to solve different things. People are trying to find their way. And Elsa, really arguably the main character in the story, is trying to find. Has this voice in the back of her head, kind of calling her somewhere, but she doesn't know where. She doesn't know who it is. She doesn't know what's going on, but she feels compelled to follow this voice and find out what's going on. And it's a powerful film. But Elsa is a kind of a parallel for the person that we're going to look at first. So Abraham in the Bible, you never thought you'd hear Abraham and Elsa compared in a preach, but here we go. It's me, so anything goes. So the first character is Abraham, and he's summed up by just a willingness to go. So I kind of thought about giving all of the characters a little subtitle. I'll tell you what I thought they could be. So Abraham, willingness; Moses, desperation; and Elijah, abandon; David, obsession; and John, intimacy. But there we go. That's less important. Anyway, so today, Abraham, willingness. So we're going to look at Genesis chapter 12, where Abraham is first called by God, and then we're going to look at Hebrews 11, that talks a little bit about Abraham, and then we're going to look at Luke 5, which is Jesus. Then we're going to see how these Bible stories collide with our own personal, our own human experience in the 21st century, and then we're going to apply all of it to our own lives with 3 practical steps. So does that sound all right? Excellent. Yay. Right. So let's read Genesis 12, 1 to 4. Someone in the room want to read?
The Lord had said to Abraham, leave your country.
To Abram. Yeah. Sorry, it's confusing. I've been talking about Abraham this whole time. This says Abraham. If you don't know about Abraham's name change, then look it up another time. But yeah, he's called
your
Abraham.
Country, your people and your father's household, and go to the land that I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. So Abraham left as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abraham was 75 years old when he set out from Haran.
Now, I just realized kind of halfway through Harry reading that probably all the people on Zoom couldn't really hear. Is that true? Yeah, but you could read, could you? No, you can't see what's on the screen? Okay. Right, okay, well, you can read Genesis 12, 1 to 4 in your own time, but basically it says that God called to Abraham and said, go, leave your country, your people and your father's household, and go to the land that I will show you. And then in verse 4 it says, so Abraham left as the Lord told him. So that's like a short summing up of the verses. Now, Homer, who I've been getting really into his books, he has written a book called God Has a Name, which I've just finished. And in it, he calls this passage the entire Old Testament. So where it kind of turns, like kind of shifts. Yeah, but the bit where it kind of shifts gear into something else. And it's the first time God really makes a covenant with humans. There's been lots of humans up to a point doing various things, varying different relationships with God. And this is the first really kind of makes a covenant. And he lays out all this stuff for Abraham. He kind of writes out this contract, and you will bless people, and I will bless people, and you will curse people, and I will curse people, and I will do this for you, and I'll do that for you. But his opening gambit is leave where you are and go to a place that I'll show you in due course. And Abraham does it. Now, this is interesting. The first thing God really does with humans in his kind of scheme of covenants that runs throughout the Bible is just telling this guy, just go, just start by going. And Abraham does it, and the Bible says it's counted to him as righteousness. And I have a couple of personal testimonies about this sort of thing. God has spoken to me a couple of times about doing kind of things that may seem a little scary and a little not sensible in some ways. So he talked to me about not working for a year, essentially taking a sabbatical a while back. This was maybe like, I don't know, 10 years ago. And it really kind of shifted something for me. But at the time, I had no idea what I was going to do, and I spent the best part of a year just not really knowing what was going on. But in the end, it really kind of shifted something for me, and yeah, we kind of shifted into a new gear of journey, and it's happened very recently as well. In prayer, God has kind of shifted me into nice background there, Sharon and Steve. I'm super distractible, so anything like that is going to like throw me super off course. But yeah, God has been talking to me about doing something different and going down a different route. Doing a cafe, and it was very lucrative, and we were just about to move into another premises that was going to be even more lucrative. It kind of looked very promising, but actually God said, like, look, there's something else beyond the horizon. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, but there's something that I think you should really kind of consider going for. And yeah, and after prayer, I just decided actually that's what I want. Right? Like, I want to pursue what God has for me, and I don't really mind what it is, because I know that God has the best things in mind. So and we're really in that place at the moment. I haven't got a punchline to that. We're very much kind of in that kind of limbo space of, we're still following God. We really don't know what we're doing though. So I'll update you when it all happens. And so yeah, so I can identify with Abraham a bit, and I think we all can to some degree. Maybe some of us have been called to crazy stuff, like crazy mission. Maybe some of us have just been called to pick up the phone and call someone that we find difficult. But I think all of us can relate in some way to this call. But yeah, it's interesting that God starts with that, and then we get to so we're going to skip far into the New Testament. We're going to go to Hebrews 11. So this is a letter to the church. It talks about many things, but in this very famous passage in Hebrews 11, the writer talks about lots of heroes of the faith. They're trying to kind of outline what faith is to us. what it really means to us as Christians. And yeah, and he says something really interesting in the middle. So they've just been talking about Abraham, about like a little kind of summation of the story of Abraham, and they're just about to talk about Abraham again. But in the middle of the story of Abraham, it kind of writes this little commentary on what Abraham and all of the other heroes of faith did. Anyone care to read it? Maybe, yeah. Maybe I should read it because I've got the mic. Okay. I'm going to hold it and move around. All these people were still living by faith when they died. They did not receive the things promised. They only saw them and welcomed them from a distance. And some translations say they saw them on the horizon. They admitted that they were aliens and strangers on earth. Again, some translations say, use the word pilgrims on earth. People who say such things show that they are looking for a country of their own. If they had been thinking of the country they had left, they would have had the opportunity to return. But instead, they were looking for a better country, a heavenly one. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them. And so the writer of the Hebrews talks about Abraham in this way of kind of desiring something better. He followed God because he could see something ahead, some kind of blurry vision ahead of something better. And it says in verse 16, instead they were longing for a better country, a heavenly one. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, and uses this link between the kind of wanting, the desire that these people have for something better, something beyond the horizon, is the reason that God is not ashamed to be called their God. It says, therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, because he sees their desire for something beyond, and that is God. And there's a human craving for better. There's a certain kind of human condition where we just kind of long for knowledge. We long for a resolution. We long for better. But there's a quote by a crime writer that I found called Sophie Hannah. She wrote an article in The Guardian, and I found this really interesting. She said, solving the puzzle, for most of us, that's life. Will we get the job we want? Does our sister-in-law secretly hate us? Is our current relationship going to last? We're spurred on by not knowing and desperately wishing we did. And she talks about crime fiction, her genre. Crime is the only genre that puts puzzle solving, making sense of what the hell's going on, at the center of everything. It's closest to our core motivation as we blindly stumble through life, needing but never being given all the answers. And that's hashtag relatable content, isn't it? Like needing but never being given all the answers. It's that tension between, like I really want to know. I really want to know what's going on. I really want to see the end of the journey. But I kind of know inside myself that that's never going to happen, because that's not how life works. But yeah, we crave for something better, and God sees the people who their craving for something better aligns with their knowledge of there is something better like ahead that God has for me. And we're going to look at Luke chapter 5. We're going to jump into Jesus now. So we kind of looked very briefly at Abraham. We've kind of looked at how the Hebrews writer describes what went on with Abraham. And now we're going to read a bit of a parallel in the Gospels. So Luke 5, 1 to 11. We might skip some of it. So basically, Jesus kind of goes, goes to the shore and sees these guys, and there's a bit of a story which you can actually watch these days in The Chosen, which is a great series about Jesus and the disciples. But towards the end, I think maybe skip to the next page, Nick. So Jesus causes the fishermen to catch like a massive catch of fish, and and it says, so they signaled their partners in the other boat to come and help them, and they came and filled both boats so full that they began to sink. And when Simon Peter saw this, he fell at Jesus' knees and said, "Go away from me, Lord, I am a sinful man." For he and all his companions were astonished at the catch of fish they had taken, and so were James and John, the sons of Zebedee, Simon's partners. And then Jesus said to Simon, "Don't be afraid, from now on you will catch men." So they pulled their boats up on shore, left everything, and followed him. And so we kind of see a bit of a parallel between this story and the story of Abraham. It's a call to go. Sorry, just a bit of dad stuffer. There's a parallel between Genesis 12 and Luke 5. In the story of Abraham, God is making his first covenant with humankind, and he's saying, "Go." And in this story, Jesus, in his life on earth, is making his first covenant essentially with his friends on earth, and his first thing is, "Come, follow me." And he, there's a quote by John Stott in a book that I've started to read called The Radical Disciple, which says, "Life is a brief pilgrimage between two moments of nakedness. We would be well advised to travel light." This is what essentially we see the disciples doing. They see Jesus, they're compelled to follow him, and so they just leave everything. They just say, "Right, well, these boats aren't going to help us." So they pull their boats up on shore, leave everything, and follow him. And it's quite a dramatic parallel with the story of Abraham, who was called to leave everything. But God says to Abraham, "Leave everything, go to this place." But Jesus doesn't say, well, I mean, it says in some stories in the Gospels that Jesus said, "Follow me." But I like the story where he just says to Simon, "Don't be afraid, from now on you'll catch men." So he doesn't even say, "Follow me." He just says, yeah, it's going to be different. He's so compelled by him that he leaves everything and he just goes after. I was thinking about this, and I was kind of thinking, like it's kind of interesting how marriage is like this. You kind of make a covenant in marriage, really not knowing the journey ahead, really not knowing what your life is going to be like ahead. And that's kind of not the point. Like we kind of like to try and work it out. We like to try and predict what life is going to be like. And God laughs at our attempts to predict, because we get a little way into marriage and we realize, oh no, this is completely different from what I thought it was going to be. But we keep doing it. I mean, like as a race, we keep covenanting with each other, because that's how we're made, and that's That's the thing that God's put in us, that we keep covenanting with each other. We keep partnering with each other and saying, I'm going to go this life with you. And I don't know what it's going to look like, but I would quite like to just do it with you. And this is what Jesus does here. He kind of puts it on the table for Simon Peter, and Peter's like, yeah, I have no idea what life is going to look like from here on in, but I know that I want to do it following you. And this is Abraham's experience as well. He time and time again throughout his story, he just kind of follows God, even though sometimes what God's asking him to do is really weird, or seems really weird at the time. But he's like, yeah, but I just want to do life with you. So in 2021, people of LoveBristol, this relates to us. This is us. We read about of Hebrews 11 earlier on. We're going to slightly go forward into Hebrews 12, into an exhortation. So in Hebrews 11, the writer talks about all these heroes of the faith. It talks about all these people who have had faith in Jesus, trusted him, but had faith in Yahweh, trusted him, and gone after him. And now he says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, so basically all these people throughout history who have gone after God, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Note that they use the phrase "the race marked out for us," which is seem to indicate that it's a clear line, but it's kind of ironic language, I think. In verse 2 it says, let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. So let's lay aside every weight. Yeah, or in this translation, throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. So what does your journey with Jesus look like in January 2021? Where is he asking you to go? Is he asking you to go to Iran? Is he asking you to put together a new morning schedule? Is he asking you to mend a fractured relationship? Is he asking you to travel further into your heart to discover what's really inside there? What is he asking you to do? I just want us to kind of take this as a bit of a challenge to a moment of introspection. Just say, what is God currently calling me into? What is he beckoning me forward into? And then secondly, why do we hesitate? What in us causes us to if we do hesitate? I mean, we don't always, but if we do hesitate, why? Like, what is it that kind of causes us to pause? We can take a look at what we're holding on to. So this thing says, lay aside every weight, or throw off everything that hinders. And we've got our dear friend Nathaniel who has decided that his hair is hindering him. So he's shaved off his hair. Not I don't think as like a streamlining like a streamlining decision, but more of a like this is something that has been kind of holding me back, and it's a symbol of bullshit, as he would say, I obviously wouldn't say that, but I'm just quoting Nathaniel. And yeah. But what is holding you back? What do you maybe need to shave off this year, just as a symbol, or not as an actual thing that's holding you back? And just to go back to our friend Elsa in Frozen, she basically kind of goes through the whole story, kind of shedding things. So she at one point kind of sends her sister Anna and Olaf, the snowman, off in an ice boat to get rid of them, because she doesn't want to take them along, because she's scared that they'll die. So she gets rid of those guys, and then she goes on her own, and then she gets to the big sea, and she tries to kind of cross the big sea, and she realizes that her clothes are hindering her. So I mean, she doesn't get completely naked, but she takes off some of her clothes, and then she crosses the sea. And it's a picture of, actually, we need to kind of constantly assess what is holding us back. So just my 3-point exhortation to us in January 2021, as we start this into the unknown journey. 1, throw off everything that hinders. So take a good look at your life. Think, what is holding me back from going wherever God wants me to go? What is holding me back? What's weighing me down? And what excess weight do I need to shed? And then number 2, shed sin. It talks about the sin that clings so closely in my translation, or the sin that so easily entangles in some translations. We need to get serious about sin. So shed just kind of useless stuff at the first, but then shed the sin that's kind of harder to deal with sometimes, but is really, really very important. And then the third thing, run with perseverance. We want to run into, as our kind of GIF showed us earlier on, like Elsa disappearing into this cloud. And we'll talk about that a bit more next week when Doug talks about Moses. But stepping into the cloud, or running into the cloud, and just saying, God, I surrender to your mystery. I surrender to not to my own fantasy sense of control. I let go of that kind of that delusional sense of control that sometimes we can have. And there's a prayer that I want to kind of pray just before I give you the gift of a song, not mine. But there's a prayer in the Celtic daily prayer, morning prayer, that finishes off the morning prayer, that I think is really appropriate. And it's, may the peace of the Lord Christ go with you wherever he may send you. May he guide you through the wilderness, protect you through the storm. May he bring you home rejoicing at the wonders he has shown you. And may he bring you home rejoicing once again into our doors. So we're gonna just listen to a song. There's a story behind the song, but I haven't got time to go into it. But it's a song by Jason Upton called "Between the Graveyard and the Garden," and the words are really fun. The tune is really fun as well. But yeah, let's just listen to this and let it bless you, and then we're gonna finish. Doug's gonna take us out. All right.
little quote. I love this quote. I just wanted to chuck it out. I don't know who wrote it, but I just thought it might be cool for us for going into 2021. As we set our eyes and fix our eyes on Jesus, and as we run for Jesus, my challenge and my exhortation and my, this quote, coming off the back of, what's it? From nakedness to nakedness. That was a cracker. That we live one life, and how are we going to live it? We've only got one choice. We are all going into 2021 together. We're all going to live. And what are we living for? And this is the quote. Only those who risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. At the end of the day, your feet should be dirty, your hair messy, and your eyes sparkling. Let's repeat that. Only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. At the end of the day, your feet should be dirty, your hair messy, and your eyes sparkling as you follow Jesus. Follow Jesus this year, 2021. Run after Jesus with everything you've got. Get your hair messy like Cash is doing. Get your feet dirty, and fully, I just pray that this year for Love Bristol would be one of full life, that life would flow through us. There will be sparkles of life, that life would come out of your eyes, and your feet would get dirty, and you would just run after Jesus with everything that you've got in your hands and in your life. Chucking all that stuff aside that Josh was talking about, but running after Jesus. Bless you guys. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. We love you. And for everybody in the room, well done for sitting in the cold. And for everybody at home, we love you. Bless you. See you next week. As we, I think I'm preaching, so that should be fun. Moses in the cloud. Catch you later. Love you guys. We'll leave the Zoom on for a bit so you guys can chat. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Ta-da.